to the Irresistible Marketing Pod, the podcast that wants you to do your part to close the wage gap by raising your prices. I'm your host, Isa Gauchi, your marketing confidence cheerleader and owner of the Isa Messaging digital marketing agency. Today, we're going to talk about value around a sneaky form of imposter syndrome that's been coming up again and again for my mainly female entrepreneur clients for my marketing confidence cheerleader services. So I want to talk about a sneaky way that imposter syndrome shows up for a lot of new entrepreneurs that they might not even recognize as imposter syndrome or notice when it's happening. So I'm going to give you some examples of questions I've literally had to give to clients to help them reframe or rethink the way they are considering their own value that they're bringing to the table through their offers. So here are a few examples. So, hey, I thought you were planning on making this a beginner level course. So why are you giving yourself months of extra work to develop PhD level resources, appendices, and optional further exploration study paths before you launch? And another example. Okay, so let me get this straight. You use only ethically sourced, all natural, organic, fair trade ingredients in your tested and proven formula that you have about 100 5-star reviews for, and you're selling it for less than $10? And then another example. So you just told me that your client literally just told you yesterday that you've changed their entire relationship to movement. So that doesn't sound like you're just teaching them things they already know. As you can probably tell from these examples, these people are badass professionals. They put so much care and expertise and creativity and their own unique perspective and love into the things they're offering, and they know their shit and they're good, and they're just have this really bad habit of seriously undercutting themselves without even noticing it. And when I mirror back and ask them questions like the examples I just gave you, when we really get to the root of the issue, what a lot of them admit is that they have this secret fear that anyone could do what they do. Anyone could do what they do, and so therefore what they offer is not valuable. And because anyone could do what they do, they must therefore charge bargain basement prices or stuff a bunch of extras into a package to sweeten the deal, or even both. And it's not true. If you're having a little voice in the back of your head tell you to do stuff like this, like anyone could do this, better charge less, better pack way more into this offer than what they're paying for or what they even need at the level they're at or for this topic, I want you to really pull this fear apart, and we're going to do that today. We're going to dismantle this belief that anyone can do what you do, and therefore it's not worth much. So, go on a thought experiment with me. Let's pretend that you have zero God-given talent whatsoever for what you do. And look, I know for a fact this is not true. You are talented, but a lot of you have this fear that you just have no talent at what you're doing. And I know that you're worried about this, but even if that were the case, I'm going to assuage your fears that you are still more than justified in charging for your service, even if you didn't come into it like a prodigy talented and had to work to get where you are. So let's pretend you just had no God-given talent whatsoever. Let's pretend that's the case, even though it's not. You came into your field utterly talentless, but even though you came into your field utterly talentless, you are an entrepreneur who has on-the-job experience. You learned by doing. and you studied and you trained and you practiced and you honed your processes and you tweaked your formula and your approach so that you can get your people better and better and better and better results. And you reflected on how to keep getting your people better and better results. And you've tried and you've failed and you've learned from that failure and you've kept trying and you've kept going. So even if you had no God-given talent for this, if any or most of that list applies, even if you came in with no talent, you should probably still be charging more and offering less, because your time is valuable. Your effort is valuable. Your perspective is valuable, and your experience is 100%, definitely, totally, for sure, valuable. But too many women entrepreneurs don't realize just how valuable, and not just women, it's also if you have any sort of marginalized identity, if you're queer, if you're trans, if you're a person of color. Our society has raised us in marginalized identities to discount these things as not as good or not as worth much monetarily, but it's not fucking true. I'm going to break it down for you just how valuable these things are: your time, your effort, your perspective, and your experience. So let's talk first about why your time is valuable. So we're still on this thought experiment. Maybe, just maybe, someone could do what you do, but only if they've spent just as much time studying, training, practicing, and learning on the job as you have. So let's think about this for a moment. What is that for you in terms of hours or days or months or years? So let's say someone could just, that's in air quotes, let's say someone could just do what you do if they also put in that much time. Okay, so sure. If they put in the exact same amount of time you have to get to where you are now, to be able to make the thing or offer the service with all your expertise now, let's say that they could also do it. But they could also just pay you to do it for them rather than spending all of that time. They could just pay you to take your class or get coached by you or buy the product you've already assembled. And if all they get from buying from you is a few hours, days, weeks, months, or years freed up, isn't that still valuable as fuck? Like, isn't that still worth something? If they went and spent 5 years learning to get where you are, they could also do what you do, or they could pay you and not have to spend that 5 years doing everything you did to get to where you are so you can do the thing now with a lot less time, energy, and effort. Like, isn't that valuable? Isn't that alone valuable? Like, for real, are you saving them years of effort that they don't have to put in? Please charge them accordingly. Because saving someone years of time that's priceless. It's invaluable. So, sure, maybe they could do what you do if they put in exactly as much time. But if they buy from you, they don't have to. They don't have to put in that amount of time. Valuable. All right, let's talk about why your effort is also valuable. Because it's not just the time that you put in. Because you worked at your work. You tried hard. You were stretched in every way imaginable as you put in the effort to be able to do what you do. Your mind was expanded. Your emotional capacity was forced to grow. Your relationships were put through a stress test as you honed your craft. You experimented and you got better and you honed again and again to give your clients the best possible experience. And you kept on experimenting and honing, and you're doing that even today so that your offers keep growing with you and getting better and better with you. You made awkward mistakes and you had painful failures that you had to learn uncomfortable lessons from. You had to weather challenging conversations. You had to navigate naysayers and bad fit clients and mentors. You had to tell people no. You had to own up to your own fuck ups, and that wasn't fun. You had to face your fears to get this good. You had to battle your demons to even open your business up at all. And all of that was your effort. Aren't your blood, sweat, and tears valuable? Isn't that a cliche for a reason? Isn't your rare courage valuable? What about your perseverance and the lessons you only learned because of the mistakes you had the courage to risk making? So, sure, if they are also, in addition, willing to put in all the time you did and willing to go through all the emotional challenges and inner demon battling for as long as you did and put in as much effort and persevere through as much and have as much courage as you through that time, then maybe they could just do what you do. Or they could just pay to work with you or buy your freaking product right now and not have to put themselves through the ringer like that. So, third, let's talk about why your perspective is valuable. You love what you do. There's no way you would have kept going through all of that emotional challenge we just talked about in terms of your effort. There's no way you would have made it through that, kept showing up, come back to it, returned again and again, even when it was hard, if you didn't love what you do. You think about your work in the shower, while driving, while walking your dog. You dream about your clients. You journal and reflect on how to keep getting better at doing what you do. How many people do you think have this exact same passion for this exact work that you are doing in your business? How many people do you think about how to make their work better, how to serve their clients better, how to do more, how to create more? How many people do you think about that after the day's tasks are done? How many people do you think outside of the day's tasks and what they technically have to do to make a day's living are willing to read about this as much as you do, have as many conversations, go out of their way to meet people, to network, to go to the events, to take classes, to invest money in their education and their development and their growth, and to follow the thought leaders in their field, to watch everything on the watch lists you've watched to better your craft and your ability to show up for your people, to listen to all the podcasts and read all the books that you do and follow all the accounts and keep up with latest industry news. Like, how many people do you think have enough love for the work that you do that they are willing to do that? You've had the passion, the love, the focus to notice patterns, track results, and test out what works and what doesn't, to mine failures and mistakes for important lessons. You need love for that kind of focus, and you need passion and commitment to not just quit. And girl, you know not everyone has that for this thing that you do, or everyone would be doing what you do. You do what you do better because you love it. And so you should charge for how much you love it because you do it better due to how much you love it. If they don't have that same love for this work, then it's going to save them a lot of disappointment and get them much better results if they invest in someone who loves to do what they do not love to do. And lastly, let's talk about why your experience is valuable. So there are many things you can only learn by doing. For example, you could read a book about how to fly a helicopter, but that does not mean you can just go fly a helicopter just because you read a book. You could watch an instructional video on how to perform a heart transplant, but of course, that's not enough to then be trusted to lead the surgery. This is why there are flight instructors. This is why there are attending surgeons. And this is why they aren't cheap, because there are a limited amount of people who have the hands-on experience to tell you how to do it tactilely, how to do it in context of the moment, how to respond to unexpected things happening in the moment. There's so much that you can't get from just a step-by-step how-to manual that you could only get prepared to do these sort of things by learning from someone who has done it themselves in real life and has had to navigate and manage the IRL in real life experience and what can go wrong and what can go right and how to prepare emotionally and all of this stuff that you can't just get out of someone telling you step 1, 2, 3. So stop assuming that the mere existence of how-to books or podcasts or videos or courses or recipes or programs or similar people in your field, stop assuming that that cheapens your wildly valuable experience. Your people could try to learn how to do what you do by cobbling together countless freebies, YouTube videos, and generic courses, and still not be anywhere close to getting the outcome that they want. Or they could just pay you. They could save themselves all of that heartache and emotionally fraught, intense, and challenging hands-on experience and repetition over a long period of time and getting critiqued and getting the mentorship. They could just save themselves all that trouble by just paying you. So, your time, your effort, your perspective, and your experience are valuable and you should charge accordingly. Say it like you mean it. Price it like you mean it. That way you can market your offer in a compelling way because you can confidently explain what people will get out of it. That way you can price your offer in a way that makes you excited to make that sale, not exhausted at the prospect of fulfilling it. So, don't discount your value that you bring to the table and stop telling yourself anyone could do what you do because obviously they can't. Obviously they can't, or they simply don't want to. They don't want to go through all that you went through to be able to do the thing you love because they lack the time, the effort, the bandwidth, the love for this work that you have. So you are infinitely valuable in what you bring to the table. Stop discounting it, my love. All right. If you could use some help building belief in the value that you bring to the table, I'd love to be your marketing confidence cheerleader, which is a one-on-one part marketing consultation, part business mentorship and coaching, and part like literal emotional cheerleader that you can learn more about if you hit the season of support link in the show notes or the pep talk in a pinch if you just want one talk rather than the full program. You can also dip your toe into what it's like to work with me for free right now by signing yourself up for a super fun free 5-day course I have available right now called Evil Queen Era. It's 5 days. You get one secret video and an email a day for 5 days. And each video is 10 minutes or less. So for just a few minutes a day, you can really start working on building this belief in yourself like right away. And it's all over email. So you can do this entirely at your own schedule. There's no homework or anything. It's a super low pressure, super fun course. You can watch it in the morning for a little confidence boost at the start of the day, or like watch it for some anxiety relief in the middle of your workday, or whenever you want. Also, you will find that link in the show notes, so make sure you go sign up. All I need is your email address and you can get the Evil Queen Era course. And lastly, thank you so much for joining with me today. It means so much to me that out of all the places you could learn about how to build a badass business, you want to come here and use Irresistible Marketing to not only make you some bank, but also to make the world a better place and to create more opportunities and beauty and joy for the people that you love. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to keep more Irresistible Marketing content coming, please leave me a 5-star review. It is so appreciated. Now go raise your prices. Love you. Bye.